Hello again to another Agakala Reacts, and today is 19 February, and on 19 February 1942, about 150 Japanese warplanes attacked the Australian city of Darwin. So we're going to watch the Japanese invasion of Australia by Mark Felton Productions. I do have to say that I don't think I ever heard about any invasion of Australia, mostly because obviously coming from Europe, coming from Poland, my history lessons were mostly focused on Poland during the World War II. I think we had some lessons about Pearl Harbor and some maybe 1 or 2 hours about just in general Pacific War, like the Pacific part of World War II, but whatever more I know about what was going on in the Pacific Front, let's call it, it didn't came from my schooling years, so I just learned something new. And let's see what was happening there.
Would the Japanese invade Australia? Well, for all the panic among the civilian population of Australia concerning a Japanese invasion in mid-1942, the Japanese never intended to carry out such an operation.
Work or perish?
Only on one occasion late in the war did Japanese troops come ashore in Australia. By January 1944,
Really?
Japanese naval intelligence suspected that the United States was constructing a new naval base at Admiralty Gulf on the northwestern shores of Western Australia. The Navy made a request to the closest military forces to Western Australia to conduct a reconnaissance to confirm or deny their suspicions. Based on Ambon Island, the Japanese 19th Army contained a special commando-style unit called the Matsukikan, or Pine Tree, under the command of Captain Masayoshi Yamamoto.
I'm kind of curious about why they were called Pine
graduates
Tree.
of the Army Intelligence School at Nakano in Japan. They formed an elite reconnaissance force. Captain Yamamoto detailed one of his subordinates, Lieutenant Susuhiko Mitsuno, to put together a small team ready for insertion into Western Australia. Lieutenant Mitsuno's party departed on their mission from Kopang in Timor, part of the Japanese-occupied Netherlands East Indies, aboard a tiny 25-ton fishing vessel called the Hiroshi Maru on the 14th of January 1944. The rest of Mitsuno's team consisted of 2 sergeants, a superior private who would act as a radio operator, 6 Imperial Japanese Navy sailors, and 15 local Timorese disguised as fishermen. The Timorese would sail the vessel to Australia, and if any Allied aircraft or ships encountered the Hiroshi Maru, their presence would hopefully deter a more thorough investigation of the boat. The first attempt to conduct the mission was a failure, however, as the tiny fishing boat was caught in a ferocious storm that forced Mitsuno to scrub the operation and return to base on the morning of the 15th of January.
Timor is very close to Australia, isn't it? I really don't know much about geography on that part of the world.
Strangely, although the Japanese had already disguised their activities with the addition of the Timorese, they now took the contradictory step of providing the Hiroshi Maru with air cover for the voyage. Any Allied plane or ship that encountered a small fishing boat with its own dedicated aerial cover would arouse suspicion. 19th Army Headquarters instructed the 7th Air Division at Kendari to release an aircraft for the operation, and Staff Sergeant Aonuma found himself flying his Type 99 light bomber on circuits around the Hiroshi Maru as she motored towards Australia. On the 16th of January, as the fishing boat approached Cartier Islet, Aonuma spotted a submarine running on the surface. Undoubtedly Allied, Aonuma decided to dissuade the submarine from making a close inspection of the Hiroshi Maru and dived in to attack. Lookouts aboard the submarine had already spotted the Japanese aircraft, and the submarine immediately crash-dived, followed under the waves by 2 bursts of machine gun fire from the Type 99. As Aonuma passed over the white water, marking with...
Why am I feeling that this going into the direction that basically because of that aircraft they were actually kind of like found out straight away, like what he just said actually, that's what he said, isn't it? And then probably it would be more inconspicuous if they didn't have that plane flying with them, isn't it? Because obviously Australia was on a high lookout for the planes back then. So
the submarine had vanished, he dropped 6 50-kilogram bombs. The bombs detonated underwater, and Aonuma circled over the spot several times, later reporting that the submarine had probably been damaged. The Type 99 light bomber continued her mission of flying cover for the Hiroshi Maru.
how many people
as
could
the
go
vessel
to that
approached
bomber?
the Australian coast.
So
The
4?
radar system monitored the airspace over the coastline, forcing the Japanese aircraft to drop down low. Aonuma located Cartier Island, returning to guide the Hiroshi Maru in. The first landfall made by the Japanese was at 9 a.m. on the 17th of January, when they reached East Island. The island is actually a coral reef that is exposed during low tide. 24 hours later, the Japanese reached Browse Island, and here Lieutenant Mitsuno and his men went ashore.
I'm sorry, this is
Browse
literally what...
contained nothing except a ruined watchtower, but the island did provide the Japanese with a suitable laying-up position. Timing his mission carefully, Mitsuno
I'm sorry, but
wanted
I'm gonna pause again, because this is literally how that island was looking. There's a little tower. What's that on this? A little tower here. There's a little hut or a house or something like that, is it? And literally just being covered around with water and just like tall grasses and maybe some bushes, but they don't look that tall that they would cover a grown man. That's just strange in my opinion.
Japanese with a suitable laying-up position. Timing his mission carefully, Mitsuno wanted the force to land on the mainland in the early morning of the 19th of January. After 3 hours on Browse, the Hiroshi Maru weighed anchor and sailed through the night to the mainland, entering an inlet on the coast of Western Australia at approximately 10 a.m., the first Japanese troops to land in Australia. A light mist concealed the Japanese landing party as they quietly collected tree branches with which to camouflage the Hiroshi Maru. Then the men ate a cold breakfast before beginning their mission. Mitsuno now divided his command into 3 parties, tasked with exploring different areas of the wilderness. Mitsuno commanded one, while the 2 sergeants, Morita and Furuhashi, each led another, and it was agreed that all parties would rendezvous back at the boat after 2 hours. Mitsuno even had an 8mm movie camera with him to record anything of interest that was discovered. The Japanese were to discover nothing of any military interest, all parties reporting only finding old campfires. After a night aboard the boat, Mitsuno ordered another series of patrols on the 20th of January, but by 2 p.m., and with nothing to show for their labours, Mitsuno decided to end the mission and return to Timor. The Japanese landings near Cartier and Browse Islands in Western Australia remain the only confirmed presence of enemy troops in Australia during the Second World War. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe
no
and
mention
share,
of the
and also
actual...
support my channel at PayPal
the
and
warplane
Patreon.
attack, huh?
Details in the description box below.
Well, I kinda was hoping that they're gonna be something more. Guys, I don't watch those videos before I make the reaction, so I don't know exactly what they're talking about. And I presume that the Japanese invasion of Australia would be actually kinda covered into it? Or that was... He said 1944, so... And the bombing war happened in 1942. The only thing that I've seen that literally in titles that referenced Darwin was just like really short videos. So, too short. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, don't know much about what was going on. I know Australia were taking part in the war, but I don't think, maybe except this and some bombings, and I'm not sure. I kind of interested now about how was Australia like actively attacked by Japanese. I'm presuming they wanted, because they were kind of spreading outwards, isn't it? The Japanese Empire during the Second War, which is like out and out and out. And even in there are some kind of alternate reality shows and books and stuff like that, just saying what would happen if they would win. And I think that in The Man from High Castle, they was saying that they basically took Asia and Australia and the west of Americas, isn't it? Anyway, that was interesting. Learned something new about Second War. Like I said, we were mostly focused in our history lessons in Poland and what was going on in Poland during the war, and it was going on a lot. So, thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye!